Hello there everybody and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to talk about something very interesting. We're going to be covering fake Chinese coins, how to go off and tell whether they're real or fake. Now obviously we're not going to cover every Chinese coin history, as there are some types like the knife coins and the spade coins, of which I personally know enough about to go off and tell you about. However, we're going to be covering the Chinese cash, the usual round ones that you'll see. We'll be covering it from about the year 621 AD all the way up until 1912 AD. Now, this here is the Tang Dynasty all the way up until the end of the Qing Dynasty. Now, this here is a very large bit of time, but the coin design doesn't really vary much, and a lot of people that make fake ones do actually keep it very similar when they do it. So without further ado, I'm going to flip you over to another point of view, and let's just go up and get on with it. Alrighty everybody. So, as you can see in front of you here, we have two Chinese coins. The one on the left is a genuine Tang Dynasty Chinese coin, and the one on the right is a genuine Song Dynasty Chinese coin. Now, the first thing you'll notice about these two coins is the colour difference. One is a bit bronzy, whilst the other is a bit green. Now, this is because the Chinese coins, when they were cast, using casts just like this. This clay mold is actually a national treasure, by the way, found in 92. In China. Now, they were cast in molds like that using molten bronze. Bronze consists of copper and tin. Copper, when it oxidizes, actually forms a greenish colour rather than the reddish colour we're used to seeing, as the reddish colour actually comes from iron or steel rather than copper. If your rust appears reddish, don't be worried though, as these coins, since they're made of bronze, are meant to be completely unmagnetic. However, if they're slightly magnetic, that's fine, as there may be impurities within the metal due to the metalwork being a bit primitive, and obviously 100% copper and tin purity is a bit hard to achieve. So if you have a few rusty red splodges, it may just be a bit of an impurity which has started to rust. So once we have the colour and magnetism out of the way, we now want to go off and look at the fact that when they're cast creating levels. So you can see the characters pop out, the center square pops out, and the edge ring also pops out. You can see the same thing on the other one. There you go. And for both of them on the back, you can also see it. It's a bit hard to see on this one because it's a bit more worn down, but you can see where it's meant to be elevated. So, with this in mind, we now know that the coins are elevated, and the coins are also made of bronze and should be non-magnetic. After this, you want to go off and start looking at the characters. Using the first link in the description, you can go off and follow that, and you read the characters like this: top, bottom, right, left. Compare that to the list on the first link and see if you can find it. Once you've found it, you want to see if they have any inscriptions on the back, as this coin here has inscriptions on the back, as you can see there. That's written in the Manchuk language, I believe it's called. And yeah, that there has to go off and match up with the characters on the front there. And once you've figured out what coin it is, if it's correct that is, you can then go off and go on to New Mister. Once you go on to New Mister, you want to go off and find the coin, obviously. And then you can measure the size of your coin, see if it's the correct diameter, and then go off and weigh it, see if it's the correct weight. After you've done that, you can then go off and rest assured, if everything's correct, say, yes, this coin is real. Unless it is too thin, too light, or any of that stuff. Now that means something was wrong. Now you can see here, this coin is decently thick. However, this one is quite thin. This coin here is a perfect example of a common sense fake coin, as these ones here were bought for a couple of pounds each, whereas this was purchased for, I kid you not, genuinely 5 pence. Now, obviously, an ancient coin is going to cost a lot more than 5 pence, so this coin here is obviously fake just by the price, but leaving that out, let's go off and presume we thought this was real. You can now go off and look at it and tell me, okay, the colour's wrong. It's too modern, it's too golden. as ancient Chinese coins would be more of this colour rather than this colour. And also, it's flat. It's perfectly smooth on the top there. If you can see that with an angle, it looks as if the words are acidically etched rather than cast and, poured into a mould. So, yeah, that's basically all you need to know about identifying fake Chinese coins. I'm now going to flip you back to the other camera so I can go off and show you something else. Alright, welcome back to the face cam, everybody. So let's now go off and recap everything. So the first thing you want to go off and check for is the correct metal. You do this by checking the colour and obviously also the magnetism of the coin. If all that's fine, you can now move on to looking at the thickness of the coin and the elevation of the coin. Does it look thick enough? Does it look too thin? And do the words pop out or are they flat on the coin? And after that, the last thing you need to do, go online, check if the characters match up, and check if the weights and all of that match up as well. And once you're done with that, hey, there you go. You've got yourself a real coin. And obviously, just bear in mind, these coins will cost you pounds rather than pennies. Or for the Americans, it'll cost you dollars rather than cents. And just to end this off here, you can tell me this in one shoot, I only have one of these. I'm going to see if I can bend this terrible coin here. Just with my teeth. Let's see how that goes. Yeah. There you go. Bent it. That there is clearly not a real Chinese coin. Alright, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please do subscribe and leave a like on this video, leave a few comments, and yeah, tell me what you thought. As well as that, thank you guys all so much for 100 subscribers. I recently hit 100 subs and yeah, it's really nice. Thank you guys so much for that. Alright, everybody. I'm going to go off now and hope you guys have a good night.